We all have locations that make us feel most alive. Sometimes it's a place. Sometimes it's a pursuit. It's difficult to define, but when we're there, we know it. Time slows down, smiles come easier, and the sense of calm is medicine for the soul. Now we join pro angler Ott DeFoe as he takes us bass fishing at his stomping grounds in East Tennessee. This is his element.
For me, there's something special about catching a bass in a river where there's current. You know, catching bass is fun anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's in a farm pond, in a big lake, but for me, there's nothing better than catching bass out of a river. It's that fact of being able to pattern those bass and knowing exactly where they're going to be. So I can say, I'm going to catch a fish right there before I ever make a cast. And I make the perfect cast, the bait hits the water, within seconds a fish is on it. That to me is what makes river fishing way above everything else. For me, as family fishing trips with my brothers and my dad, you know, we would go different places, and we had a camper up on Cherokee Lake in Tennessee. We would go there and take family trips and just go fishing, whether we caught bluegill or catfish or caught the occasional bass. But we had watched all the shows on TV growing up as kids on TNN and all those shows that used to be on there, and fishing with Roland Martin, watching him fish down in Lake Okeechobee, Florida, catching these big giant bass out of this, you know, swamp-looking lake. That was just the coolest thing that we had ever seen. So we took a family trip down there. I was 9 years old, and get out there, and we stopped, and he says, okay, throw right here. And we were not using shiners, we were using artificial baits, and instantly start catching these fish that seemed like they were all giant bass. One day of that, I knew right then that's all I wanted to do the rest of my life. I knew I wanted to be a bass fisherman. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew I wanted to be a professional bass fisherman, that I wanted to fish every single possible chance I had. That's what I wanted to be doing. Bass fishing for me is something that I get to call a job. You know, I get to call it my career. I've done that for 10 plus years now, and it's provided a great living for my family. But even if I wasn't able to make my living bass fishing, I would still be doing it. You know, it's something that I love to do. I've loved to do since I was a little kid, and it's something that I want my kids to know and enjoy. That time of being out there in a boat and seeing the world come to life. You know, there's nothing a lot cooler to me than being out there smelling the burn of a two-stroke engine in the morning, very first thing before daylight. You smell that motor running, you know what's fixing to happen. As soon as that day breaks a little bit where it gets safe light, running up the lake before the sun's up yet. It gives me goosebumps right now talking about it, even though we're sitting outside. It's something that's, I mean, there's nothing else that really compares to it. It's hard to put into words. It's something that I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. As long as I'm able to be in a boat, I don't even have to be able to stand, but I'm going to be in a boat bass fishing. And that's something that I want to pass on to my kids and my grandkids someday, is that love of the outdoors and that joy of being out there wetting a line, waiting on that bite. That's something I'm going to do as long as I'm here on this earth. That's my element.
Though they are often very different, each of us shares our own unique connection to the outdoors, a passion that drives us, defines us, and centers us. It's where we are in our element. What is your element?